everybody. This is Quinn and Carissa, and we're from the Lawrenceburg Public Library and 7th Street Gifts in Newport, Kentucky. And we're here today to talk about our flower of the month, which is elderflower. So first, we'd like to thank the Friends of the Library and you for sponsoring the program and checking out your kit and expressing interest. Quinn is Denise's son, and he comes and helps me a lot of the mornings to prepare your kits and set up the photography and the filming, and he is going to help me explain elderflowers today. So we've got a lot to say. It's a really old and ancient plant that's been revered as long as man has existed on the planet, and we're going to try to cover as many of the main points as we possibly can. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what you're going to come to the library and get. So in this, you're going to get what? An ounce of elderflower, certified organic food grade. It's all weighed out in there. And then an organic cotton muslin bag that you'll use as a reusable tea bag, poultice, numerous kitchen tool, right, that we've talked about in all of our kits. And you definitely want to hold on to your muslin bag and rinse it out and reuse it. Even if it stains a little bit, it has a long life and it'll really be a useful tool for you. And then along with the herbs, everybody's going to get one of these brochures, and it may look similar if you checked out the elder syrup kit as well. And it has identification, so if you take a walk in the woods or on your property or try to find the species to plant on your own homestead, tips for cosmetics, for teas, for culinary and baking uses, and just a lot of really cool educational fun facts about elderflowers in general. So one thing is that very, very few herbs and flowers and botanicals are as cherished and revered across the time and place as the elder. So all major religions that have existed in the world and today and in ancient times have referred to the elderflower as a sacred tree or a healing tree or one to go to for answers or meditation or prophecy. It's a tree that truly gives freely of its gifts. So it's an elderflower, an elder bush. It's more of like a shrub or a bush than a tree. And you can use its berries, its flowers. It is a pollinator. It seeds itself. And so it's just really a free-giving, loving botanical that anyone should probably try to plant or at least use. It's also really grown in commerce. So to buy elderberries and elderberry syrup and elderflowers, in the last 5 to 10 years, I've seen the commerce trade for selling the botanical really increase and boom. Now we've had our apothecary shop for 22 years now, and when we started to carry elderflower and elderberry, it was very uncommon. Not a lot of people had heard of it. And many of you probably who grew up in my generation or my mom and dad's generation, we were raised and taught that it was a poisonous plant to avoid. So a lot of scientific research has come out and disproven that, and it's taught us that elder is an ally, a helper. Now there are a few tips to using elder safely, and this is where the lore of the poison qualities came from. But if we avoid those little pitfalls or those caveats and use it wisely and respectfully, it's a very useful non-poisonous herb. So the ingredient that a lot of people consider poisonous or toxic would be a better word, is a cyanogenic glucosinide. And I'm going to refer to it as a CG, okay? And elderflowers, all species do contain amounts and properties of CG. Now the largest property is in the root, then the next strength is in the stem, the next is the leaves, right? The next is the berry, and then the least of the CG is the flower. So if you have any concerns at all, or you've just been trained your whole life that elderflower is something to be cautious with or avoided, the flower is the perfect place to start because the traces of CGs are so minimal and mild that you wouldn't have any concern, particularly if you always expose it to heat and cook it. Now there are red-berried varieties, and some of those do grow around here, and they are the elder species, but their berries are red when they're ripe. They don't get this dark purple like a wild Concord grape, a dark, deep blueberry, purpley blue. And those are safe, but under very specific preparation. So in this class, we're going to avoid the red elderberry all together, and we're only going to talk about the Sambucus nigris canadensis, say that 3 times fast, and that's the species that makes these dark berries and these pretty Queen Anne's-like lace flowers that you're going to have in your kit. So the Sambucus nigra canadensis is an apothecary staple. So that means something that every home apothecary should have, garden or in your cabinet. You can get it through commerce like we talked about. And you can use this tea daily. It is anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. It doesn't have caffeine. And it's kind of like an ally versus a hero. So one of my herbalist teachers talked about allies versus heroes, and I like to think of botanical flowers and counterparts in that way. So an ally is somebody or something that helps you with the daily tasks and just life over the long haul, right? So you would use the Sambucus, the elderflower, as an ally. So you would have it almost daily just to help with anti-inflammatory, aches and pains, antimicrobial, just like we would drink water or milk or take a daily tonic. We could take the tea as a daily ally. Now that would help you just with life circumstances. You go out and somebody you're around is sick, or you don't wash your hands and you rub your eye, things of that nature. Just to keep your body on the up and up and strong and stable. Now a hero would be somebody who swoops in and helps you from a really big crisis, right? Something that's really wrong, helps you save the day and then swoops off like a superhero and you never see him again. So a hero could be like an antibiotic or a prednisone, a steroid shot, or some like medicine that helps you instantly feel better under a medical crisis. And those are certainly important to have, heroes. We all need them. But if the allies are on your side, and the more allies that you have in your herbal apothecary that you use on a daily basis, the less that you're going to need a hero, right? So let's look at it that way. So elder is also oftentimes called the pipe tree. It's an old-fashioned name. And the boar tree or the elhorn tree. And I have heard it called pipe tree around here in this area. Old farmers have said, well, yeah, I have a stand a wild pipe tree. So if you have this lore with it, it is an interchangeable. Like if somebody says they have pipe trees on their land, then it is an elder flower or elder bush. We call it an elder tree, but it's actually much more like a bush or a shrub. And one of the reasons it's called a pipe flower is when you break the branches, they're kind of hollow in the center, like a big thick straw. They don't have that solid woody center that like a tree, if you snapped a twig of like an oak or a walnut would have. And in ancient lore, one of the cool fun facts is that all the little spirits and sprites and the fairies would make their pipes out of the elder branches and then play them and lure people into the fairy realm. So it has a lot of fun, like fairy tale stories too. And then traditionally, elder branches were used to make little flutes and pipes along with the medicine. So it's very traditional, okay, especially in European and Scandinavian traditions, not so much Western. It's just started to make its way over. And it's traditionally added to baked goods. So like the elder flowers that are in your bag, people mix right in with their flour and their sugar and sift it through. As a taste of a flavor, it's a really light like citrus flavor, and mainly just to incorporate it into everything they can as an ally, an herbal ally. Simple syrups, so you could go back and look at your videos from last month. We talked about simple syrups. You would use the same recipe for that, and you can make fancy cocktails and flavors. And then elderflower specifically over the berry is commonly used in cosmetics. So it's oftentimes used as a poultice, so like your muslin bag with elderflower in it could be put on sore puffy eyes, bug bites, any sort of like skin ailments, and then it makes an incredible infusion for witch hazels and or glycerins for a skin toner, just to help tighten pores and keep your skin really fresh and good. I use elderflower a lot in our soap making, so I make a special face soap that has elderflower in it specifically for like dry and sensitive skin, and it seems to do really well as a cosmetic application. And again, I'm just going to touch on this one more time. The cyanogenic glycosides, or the CGs, can sometimes cause mild upset. So that's why we're always going to avoid the red berries, the species that creates the red berries, and all that's in here. And then that's also why we're always going to do a few other things so we don't have to worry about getting a tummy ache. And Quinn's going to help me turn it. And go this way. Thank you so much. Perfect. See, we have so much to say about elder, we had to use both sides of the board. And this is just a little drop in the bucket. It's got a ton of lore. If you're a person who likes gypsy stories, you've got to look it up. There's whole stories just about elderflower and gypsies. So Quinn, what do you always have to do with an elderberry or an elderflower or any part of an elder before you would put it into your body?
You have to always cook it.
Always cook it. So you would never take this elderflower and like sprinkle it on the top of your cake, right? As we talked about a culinary treat, you would work it into your flour and bake it so it's exposed to heat. Or as a tea, you would put very hot boiling water and infuse it and expose it to heat and then ingest it. So this is not a plant to use uncooked or raw. And then the flowers have what? The least amount of the CG.
Yeah.
Yep. So if you're worried at all about the CG, and again, you've been taught your whole life to avoid elder, if you use the flowers and always cook them, you have absolutely no concerns, okay? And then what else, Quinn? Around here in these parts, if you're walking your woods and you're looking to see if you have elders, it can be very
easy to confuse where carrot families.
Yep. So this flower, the one that's in your tea bag, can be very easy to confuse, excellent, with the carrot families. So like Queen's Anne's lace that we grow in wild meadows, wild carrot, it's sometimes used interchangeably. And then another one that looks very similar to Queen's Anne's lace in the flower world is wild or poison water hemlock. And those are all in the carrot families. So we would want to be 110% when you see a flower that looks similar, that you're 100% it's coming from an elder and not a carrot family flower, okay? And one way you could do that is to know you were coming off a big thick bush and that when you snapped it, it would have a hollow center, right? Like that you could make a little flute or pipe out of. And then what else about it, Quinn?
You can grow it here in like Indiana.
Yep, it grows great here in Indiana. And you can start it from seeds, but it's a little tricky to germinate from seeds. So the best way is to identify one 110% with the species that we want and then just do a cutting. You can cut them right off of the bush and stick it right into the earth without a rooting hormone or anything, and they really have a strong likelihood to root and propagate on their own. Or you could start a little stand of them, buy 2 or 3 from a certified grower and start like a hedgerow. And then once you get those established, you can take cuttings off of them and extend your row or sell them or give them away or whatever. But they're really suitable for our area, Northern Kentucky and Indiana, the tri-state. So it's a really fun thing to bring into your own herbal apothecary or garden. So they're easy to grow, but we have to be sure to ID properly, 110%, and that's where your handout and further self-education would come in handy. Excellent. And then turn that around, Quinny. Yeah, so this is the pretty little flower head we're looking for. Another thing to think about is if you plant these in your own homestead or your own property to introduce into your herbal apothecary, be sure you use... Oh, don't pick all the flowers because the flowers are where the berries come from. And you want the berries too. So you want to keep that in mind. I love these posters. I'm going to go ahead and steal this one right now. Go ahead.
Easy, everyday herb, anti-inflammatory.
So this is an everyday herb. So the ounce that you have, you could literally drink a cup of elderflower tea every day and tap into its anti-inflammatory properties. So we all have aches and pains or a creaky knee or a sore hip. Well, this is kind of like you would take a daily Tylenol or aspirin just as an anti-inflammatory, as an ally, not a hero, right?
Don't forget to always cook your elderflower before you put it on top of anything.
Don't forget to always cook your elderflower or your elderberry before you put it on top of anything or ingest it into your body. And then as it grows, it's more,
Like a shrub than a tree.
so even though we call it the elder tree, it is more of like a bush or a shrub when you're looking to identify it, or you're planning like where to plant it on your own property. So keep that in mind too. And this has really come a long way now that the scientific research has given us less to worry about with the CGs, right? And it's a huge commerce herb. So if you're somebody who has the inkling to start a little farmer's market stand or try to do a botanical for commerce to sell, elder is a really good place to start. And it's just revered from ancient times. So, in conclusion, we talked about your elder flower and that you're going to have a brochure that gives you recipes and techniques and more facts. Your organic muslin bag that you're going to keep and reuse as a tool. Excellent. Yes. So in here we have a recipe for the elder teas, the elder syrups, and the elder facials. Okay, so lots of ideas and inspiration. And then we're encouraging you to identify what's on your own property and hopefully find one of your own, and perhaps go online or to a nursery here in Lawrenceburg or get a cutting from a friend and introduce them to your own property. Again, they're quite easy to grow here. And we are going to do the year of flowers, right? Oh, yep, that's right. And next month is going to be
For next month, our flower of the month that we picked is a rose.
a rose. So we're going to do red rose petals that are food grade, and we're going to talk about how to make rose tea, rose water, and just it's kind of a good second with elderflower because there's pages and pages on rose. As long as people have been around and found elderflowers and have found rose bushes, they've loved them and used them and picked them and harvested them and really revered them. So we're just going to talk about how we love roses. And then you're going to have a food-grade botanical and some recipes to make some own rose things for your own herbal apothecary and home kitchen. So in conclusion, for the month of, what is this month, March? For the month of March 2021, we're going to do certified organic European elderflowers, 1 ounce with a muslin bag, a brochure with recipes, the YouTube video with the fun facts, and some little tips to do some further research on your own and learn more about it and enjoy it in your own kitchen and with your own family. So we're going to see you next month for the month of April for rose. Thank you very much. I'm going to say peace out. All right, have a good one.